Hello and welcome back, guys. So now I am tapping into the scary hood folklore. So just older stories about the hood, and I have got some of the best stories from some of the best TikTok storytellers. So tune in. This is gonna knock your socks off. Okay, so the first story that we are going to hear is going to be about the Boom Boom Room. Uh, the Boom Sisters. So tell me what you guys think about this story.
Well, the Boom Boom Room was started by these two ladies right here, Beatrice and Bertha Boom. Now, the Boom sisters started the Boom Boom Room. So if you ever seen the movie Life, you'll hear they talking about, hey, Ray, tell me about the Boom Boom Room. So the real origins of it is like this. So back in the day, black folk, they go to work, work hard, terrible jobs all week long, and then on, Friday night or Saturday night, they go out to the clubs, to the little juke joints, and they get to the juke joints and they drink and party and all that stuff, and just try to have a good time to get away from the stress they was going through in life. So that's what blues music is. Blues music is about a good man having a bad day. He's singing about it. So yeah, play the blues all night long and all that, and then some of them wouldn't even go to sleep. Go home, clean up a little bit, get dressed, and go to church. So these two sisters here, they ran a little club, and they was called the Boom Sisters. So people would call them Boom Boom. So it kind of turned into the Boom Boom. So that's where they got it from. They started calling it the Boom Boom Room. Now they had to keep it on the low because we just wasn't allowed to do too much, and sometimes folk get mad because you ain't cut them in as a certain group, and if you didn't cut that group in, they gonna tear your place up, burn it down and all that. So you gotta make sure you get them their little piece. So they tried to stay under the radar best they could, but the parties would be so live there that even them folk would come. Them guys who keep their hair all slicked back, even they would come and show up and get in the party. The sheriff and all his deputies, everybody would come to the parties because that's how popping the place would be. So eventually, the sisters, their mama before them, she used to run, used to be a bootlegger. Now, for y'all that don't know, like liquor was outlawed like back in the 20s and 30s and stuff. So people would do, like, that's where bootleg come from. Like they said, them bootleg Jordans, they would sit and make liquor at their own little house or warehouse or whatever and sell it on the low. So that's how their mamas had a little money and stuff and a little notoriety from bootlegging. So that's how they started coming up too. But now they started getting into that dope, man. So these sisters were selling more dope than anybody in the whole East Coast, man. One nobody, they say America, but I don't believe that. I don't believe they sold that much because it's some big boys that sell some stuff. They got connections that go all the way up to the top. So I know they weren't outdoing them, but as far as the regular folk go, they was selling, wasn't nobody outdoing them. And it's jacked up, man, because they would come be up the first ones in the church, and they'd be sitting in the front row, hollering and sweating. And when church got out, they was the first one. They was frying the fish and all that, serving the plates. So but that's how they coped with, that's how they coped with doing all that dirt they was doing by, trying to also do some good for the community. That's how them street folk used to be. It wasn't all bad. They used to, they do their bad, but they would try to do something to bring the community up too, to kind of balance that out. Now, if enough people like this story and I get enough likes and stuff on it where I see people really interested, then I tell y'all about the upper room. Because the upper room is part of the Boom Boom Room. But that's where the story get real dark at.
Okay, so that was about the Boom Sisters. And now this next one is just a small snippet on wondering if paranormal stuff happened in the hood. Let's hear this little story first.
What happened here in the hood, man? Let's go. DoorDash or Uber Eats on me right now, link in my bio. But gang, hell yeah, you will expect like, well, a lot of people that die here in the hood is filled with paranormal activity shit, and you're right. Bro, let me tell y'all this story, the first time of me actually seeing this shit with my own two eyes. I'm like 14, 15, I'm on the block, I'm cooling with my friends. We being bad as hell, doing shit we ain't got no business doing. And when I tell you that it was this big dumbass house that's on the block, but it's been abandoned for years. Nobody never been in that motherfucker as long as we lived in the area. We always wondered how it looked in the inside. So one day, being bad as hell like we broke in that motherfucker. Bro, I'm talking about as soon as we get in that motherfucker, the vibe felt creepy as hell. See this bed in the crib next door to me? Picture this, just the house being a little bit bigger. And when I say that the crib was exactly how we thought it was going to be, or even better, you know, the house is a mess because, you know, it's been abandoned for years. So it's all type of shit everywhere. So one of my homies ended up staying outside, you know, we need a lookout. So me and my other two homies that's in there, we had a motherfucker running up the stairs. Us, being us, you feel me, we thinking this our homie. He finna come tell us it's time to go, 12 coming. We literally all looking at the stairs, waiting for a motherfucker to come up, because we hearing motherfuckers run up the stairs. My homie look at me, I look at my homie, we all look at each other, it's time to go. One of my homies trying to be funny as hell. If there's somebody here, let us know. Gee, I will remember this shit for the rest of my life. It was like an evil ass voice, a loud ass bang saying, "Get out my house!" Heart dropped in my ass. When I say I didn't look back for my friends or none of that shit, boy, I was gone. I seen too many movies, man. That shit over with. Does paranormal stuff happen here in the hood, man?
Of spooky season, here is another creepy story of my childhood home in Detroit. So I was like 4 or whatever. I want to say it was like a barbecue or like we was just having a party or something. And at some point, I think I fell asleep in my grandma's arms on the porch. So they took me upstairs. Now, with the house that I said before, like this, so much activity going on, you couldn't pay me to go anywhere in that house by myself. So when I fell asleep, they took me in the house, and you know, so I wake up, house is completely dark. I can look over, I can see my sister. She's laying in the bed in her crib. I'm laying in my bed. I'm pretty sure my mom is gone. She worked that night, and my dad is in the room. So I'm laying there, and there is this nightlight next to my bed. So like I'm just up. I'm trying not to think about how creepy this house is. So I'm just laying there, and I just start making a shadow. So I start making like a bunny rabbit or whatever, cast the shadow on the wall, and I'm just, you know, bouncing around or whatever. And I stopped because something was like, rabbit. The fuck was that? The fuck was that? So I'm like, nah. So I'm just like laying still now, and then it sounds like I can't see nothing, but it's something like next to my bed now, just like, do it again, do it again, do it again. It just kept saying it over and over and over. I'm about to shit myself. So like I described the layout in the last video, where it's like you come in to the left, you go upstairs, go up, whatever. So when you go into our house, the kitchen is to the left, keep going straight to the living room, make a left, the dining room, there's my parents' room, and then there's me and my little sister room. Where me and my little sister room was, there's the attic, and in the closet is the entrance to the attic. Just and to make it worse, there was no door on the closet, so it was just open. Like you can just look in there, and it's just dark as fuck. Even in the daytime, you look in the closet and look up, it's just dark as fuck in the attic. So yeah, something is telling me like, do it again, whatever. I'm scared shitless. I don't do it again. So it started making my toys, Play-Doh and stuff, just circle at the top of my bed. So now I'm just under the cover, just staring at my shit fly over my head into a circle. I'm like, I gotta be dreaming. So everything, to me, it seemed like everything flew back over onto the dresser or whatever. But I don't know. But I got out the bed and I'm like, Daddy. It was like, Daddy, 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 Daddy. Daddy did just all different type of voices coming all like it was crazy. So it's like, Daddy, 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 Daddy. I was like, can I sleep with you? It's like, can I sleep with you? Can I sleep with you? Can I sleep with you? Just man. So I get into my dad's room. I finally fall asleep, whatever. And then I wake up and he's in the living room. He like, damn, little nigga, you didn't kick me out the bed. And I'm just looking at him like, you don't even know, bro. You don't even know. Like that house was crazy. And just to fast forward a little bit, like after I actually moved out of the house, my cousin and my aunt stayed there still. And like surprisingly, nothing really happened. Like I think I was like 7, 8, still going back over there, and nothing. Like I could sleep. Nothing weird happened. Like I had it in the back of my mind, like I know what this place is. But it was one of the times I went back, and I was standing over there, and me and my little cousin, we outside just dribbling the basketball, and they rented out the upstairs to some people. And it's like 3 little girls. They look tired. They look tired as fuck. So me knowing what's going on, I swear this seemed like it was like a movie. So I just looked at them. I was like, y'all see it too, don't y'all? And they just looked at me and was like, and I'm like, y'all parents don't believe you? And it's like, no. And I'm like, y'all in that room back there where the attic is? They was like, yeah. It's just, they look terrified. Sucks. It sucks. Look, when your kids tell you they see stuff like legit and they're describing something to a T, believe them. Believe them.
Let me tell you something. I cannot imagine being spooked out and going through something and my parents is not believing me. When I was younger and I used to be at my grandma's house, I mean, I'm not even that anything was there, but she would have like clothes hanging on like the door, or something like that, and like the shadow at night. Those things used to freak me out. I remember going to tell my granddaddy, I'm so scared. And he'd come in there and he'd be like, it ain't nothing in here. It ain't nothing in this room. This is a brand new house. I had this house built. You know what I'm saying? And my grandma used to be like, if you ain't be like the devil, then you wouldn't be scared. But I couldn't imagine actually seeing something. And my parents don't believe me. And then we just got to stay in there and deal with it. Oh my God. But let's continue. So this next video is going to be about this gang called the Young Bloods, and they are from the 1950s. This is kind of crazy. They were some really bad kids. I'm going to let him tell you the story because he's the storyteller, and I think it's a really interesting story from back in the day, from the hood.
Now these were some country boys who was trying to imitate the junk that they seen from up north. Now, you know how it happened was he went up north to visit his family, and when he went to Chicago and junk, he seen the way they was getting down, and he's just like, man, yo, like that junk was crazy. So when he went back down to the south, he tried to do that same thing. You know, he ain't had no stuff to sell or whatever, but he would go and steal stuff. And steal stuff out of people's sheds, backyard, steal stuff out of people's houses, whatever it took for him to turn around and have something to go sell. So, you know, of course, you know, when kids see somebody doing something wrong, you know, they always want to go to the path of wrong, especially if it ain't nobody there to really straighten them out. So all them other little boys and junk, they start following him and doing what he was doing. So, you know, they was getting big, man. You know, this back in like in the 50s. Yeah, this like the 50s. So this like, you know, this back way back. So they started getting big. and folk really started, joining up. But now this is where things got messed up at. So one day they call themselves gonna do something crazy, and they go steal one of the school buses from the school. Now they steal the school bus and they get the whole squad on the school bus, like 30, 40 people, kids deep or whatever. And then they end up, driving real fast, putting the pedal to the floor. And one of the boys ran the bus right up off the road. So after he run the bus up off the road, all the kids, they all left here after that, man. So their families was crying and all that, everybody was all up in the, just driving people crazy, the whole community or whatever. But the community tried to hide it because they didn't want nobody to know that a whole bunch of kids had just, what. So even though these kids was bad, even though these kids bad than a mug, they turned around and now they haunt the place where the bus crashed. And if you ever go over there and you get caught out on that little stretch of road or something at the wrong time, at the wrong night, the whole gang is trying to come and recruit you or whatever. They steal everything you got and all that because they, even though they gone, they still stuck up in their ways.
Well, that is all I have for this video. I'm not going to make them so long because, I don't know, the retention of the audience does not stay when the videos are that long. I hope these were some good videos with just like urban legends of the hood. Great storytellers from TikTok. I will be uploading a few videos, so definitely check my page and take a look at the videos. I'd like to thank you guys for stopping by my channel. I'm sending you nothing but love and light. Namaste.